Hey guys, it's Mike. With March Madness right around the corner, we're going to do something fun. My buddy Zach suggested that we create an ESPN March Madness tournament challenge. The winner can co host a show with the topic of your choice, or if you don't want to come on, pick a topic that you want me and Gary to cover. Or you can pick a restaurant that you want one of us to review on a future trip. I'll post a league link on our Facebook group and on Instagram. The league name and password are both WDWBTG. Go to ESPN.com, then go to NCAAM on the top and click on the NCAA bracket tab. Click Create a Bracket and then scroll halfway down to Join a Group. Good luck and let the smack talking begin.
Welcome to the Addicted to DVC podcast, a deep dive into all things Disney Vacation Club. We share tips, tricks, and insider info, helping you make the most of your membership. Join us for the latest news, reviews, and interviews with DVC experts and enthusiasts. Whether you're a seasoned DVC member or considering your first contract, this podcast is for you. Now, here are your hosts, Mike Hurley and Gary Arruda.
Welcome to the Addicted to DVC podcast with Mike and Gary. This is episode 34, recorded in the DeFont Leroy Recording Studios in Sarasota, Florida, and Cranston, Rhode Island. I'm your host, Mike in Florida, joined by my cousin and co-host, Gary in Rhode Island. Good evening, Gary.
What's going on, Mike? How you doing today?
I'm doing excellent.
Yeah? How's your knee feeling?
That's sore.
Yeah?
Yeah, too much golf.
You put in a lot of work last week.
I did.
We don't have to talk about it too much. It was a disappointing finish, but not bad. I'll tell you something. That Sarasota airport, it's very small. And when there's flight delays, it might be the most miserable place on earth.
Because there's just nothing to do?
There's nothing to do. There's not enough seating. The air conditioning couldn't keep up. It was like 90 degrees in that building. Everyone was like sweating. It was miserable.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Were there any fights?
No. I was just sitting, I would walk around just to try to cool off and then find a new spot to sit down, like not near people, and then it would get crowded again. Just not.
Did they give a reason what the delay was?
Just weather in the Midwest. There were like all those tornadoes and stuff, like going through. So it is what it is. Nothing could be done. It was just a weather thing. They said that there were a lot of flights sitting on runways because they couldn't they weren't allowed to take off because of the weather in the Midwest.
Yep, that's the problem with Southwest.
Yeah, you were saying there's so many layovers.
Starts, it just completely messes up.
Yeah,
all your connections and
not a lot we could do.
No. Did you eat any food in the airport parts?
No, I didn't. I had a bag of pretzels because there was one Jimmy John's in that airport. And the people next to me put in an order. They said it was an hour and 25-minute wait to go back and pick it up. I said,
that's a
long wait.
Wait, don't you think, for a sandwich?
Yeah. The line for the Jimmy John's was like down to like the security. It's crazy. They're not.
I mean, at that point, couldn't you just get like an Uber delivers?
Yeah, probably. But they'd have to go through. They just like throw it over the security. I don't know.
I mean, that airport's so small. You could have just walked out and met them like some business place on 41.
Oh, that's true. And then just go through security again.
Yeah, why not?
I guess I could have done that. I didn't really think about that. That's all right. And then I had to run to my my gate in Baltimore because by the time I landed and it taxied to the gate, it said I had like 7 minutes to get to the next gate. But then they ended up holding the plane anyway for about 20 minutes extra because
they must have had a lot of people on that flight who were going to Providence.
And the bags. That was the biggest thing. They were waiting for the bags. So just a miserable flying experience.
Because if you miss that, you're just going first out in the morning, hopefully, right? You're just looking at the Kiwi.
They said there was like an 8:10 into Providence out of Baltimore. So that would have been my play, I guess. Now, if you miss it because of their delay, do they transfer you to that flight for nothing? I've never really
No, see,
experienced it.
I don't think it has to do anything with weather.
Oh, really?
I think weather delays, you're not getting anything. That's my
Right, but if you
understanding.
miss the connect, I know that they don't give you like compensation, but I think they would rebook the flight for nothing, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You're not gonna have to pay to rebook, no.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about today, so we can kind of
We
skip
do.
over my travel woes for the most
We
part.
do. You can listen to all the travel woes on our sister podcast, the WDW Beyond the Gates podcast.
That's
With
right.
Mike and Gary.
Oh,
Or Gary and Mike. I don't know.
yeah, this one's with Mike and Gary. The other one's with Gary and Mike, right? That's how we.
I
decide.
guess. I don't know.
All right. So, what are we talking about this week?
We're talking we're talking studios. DVC Studios.
We're gonna do like a comparison of all the different studios, not just the Walt Disney World DVC, all the DVC property studios. We'll talk a little bit about the layouts. We're gonna talk square footage, all that good stuff, and kind of see what we like and dislike about them. We're not ranking them because they all have.
No,
their
we can do
pluses and
that for
minuses.
another show.
Yeah, we could definitely say like what are the top 5 studios, something like that. But for now, we're just going to go through all of them, all 20. So there's not 20 DVC resorts, but there's 20 different studios
Yeah.
because there's a couple duo studios. Riviera and Poly have these duo studios now. There's a few different categories. Animal Kingdom, Jumbo House has a value studio. Then they have a regular Kidani's different than Jumbo. So it ends up being 20 different studios. And did you want to go from smallest to largest or largest to smallest airports?
We'll go smallest to largest. How's that sound?
All right. Why don't you start us off at number 20 then? The smallest
Checking
DVC
in at number
studio.
20 at 255 square feet is the Riviera Tower Studio. It sleeps two, and it's got a 1 queen pull down.
Yep, 1 queen size pull down bed. So it's only got the Murphy bed. It's very small, and it's actually the layout is very funky because it's like on a corner, kind of.
Yeah, because it's all in that circular area with the RR on the top. So it's got a very funky configuration.
And a
People
lot of
have
its
said that
bathrooms.
the bathroom's is actually bigger than the main living area.
The living area, yeah.
Which I don't know if you've ever toured a tower studio, but
no, but looking at pictures of it and the layout here online, it definitely it looks very small. That's kind of just a place to stay. It's nice you're still like in it and everything, but you're probably not
place to lay your head down.
You're probably not looking forward to spending a ton of time in that room because it's
not really.
Small. Probably feels a little claustrophobic, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, great. I think it's a great food and wine.
That's a good one. Yeah, because you're gonna spend.
Or if you're gonna go up and grab a dinner and go see Candlelight Processional instead of driving all the way back to Sarasota, just crash there and get up and check out, have a nice breakfast at Topolino's, and head back home.
Oh, it's certainly not a bad room. I'm just saying for you that you like to spend a lot of time in the resort, this wouldn't be one that you would gravitate towards on one of those stays.
No, you're right.
Because it's really just there's not even really places to put your stuff because there's not even a bed to put things under.
You're right, yeah.
But it's nice. It's a good option for lower points. I like that they have these, but not one that's going to get used very frequently, I would imagine, for most people, because it only is for 2. I guess you could bring an infant under 2 as well. So you could have like 2 adults and an infant.
Yeah, you could. You could have a pack and play, or they do have accommodations for an infant, yes.
All right, what's next on the list at number 19?
It's the same room category type, and it's the New Poly Tower. The Duo Studio checking in at 262 square feet.
262 square feet. This one is the same thing. It's just the pull down bed that the queen size pull down comes out of the Murphy beds. So when we say pull down, it's going to be the Murphy beds. There's still some sofa beds in these studios and a couple of them, but for the most part, it's going to be the Murphy beds. This one looks a little bit bigger because the bathroom was tiny in this one. It doesn't take like most of the
Yes.
room is the room part. So this one might not feel quite as claustrophobic. Um, you have a regular balcony on there. Looks like 2 seats and a table on the balcony. Also of note is they do not include the balcony in the square footage size of these rooms. So I don't really know which ones have bigger or smaller balconies based on these pictures. You can only kind of tell what the square footage is of the inside.
Yep.
But most of the studio balconies are around the same size. Usually 2 chairs and a little table on the balconies. Have you seen this one? Any videos of this one or anything like
I
that?
have. I toured it when we were doing the DVC meetings.
The Duo? Okay.
Yes.
What'd you think of it compared to the Riviera one since you've seen
Very
both?
similar.
Okay. Does it feel more spacious or no?
Not really. No, it's
No.
tight.
Yeah.
It's tight.
Yeah, it's not really meant to be a spread out your wings kind of place.
Now, I noticed that this site left off the Disneyland villas, but I was able to look up the smallest duo studio checking in at 250 square feet is the one over at Disneyland.
Oh, really?
DVC, yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. 250 square feet on this one. That's got, again, the Murphy bed, the pull down, and it looks like it has a decent sized bathroom. So this one looks pretty small and no balcony on this one. So that would be very small. 250 square feet, no balcony. So that would come in at number 21, correct?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the smallest one.
Now we're going to be getting into our just regular villas
Okay.
and checking in at number. Well, we'll have to move on. It doesn't matter. Animal Kingdom value.
Okay, so that's at Jumbo House.
Yep.
And
That's
that is
316 square feet.
yeah, so 316 square feet. That one still has the sleeper sofa and 1 queen bed. And we can I'm not going to skip too far ahead, but I will say that it's about 50 square feet smaller than the regular studio at Jumbo House. I'm not sure exactly where they make up that 50. Is it just a little shorter? Do you know that?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because that's quite a. I mean, 50 square feet is a lot, and they have the same stuff in it. So I don't know if that's just everything squeezed together or the bathroom's a little smaller. But there's not a ton of space to make that up
No, you're exactly right.
with the layouts. I haven't stayed in the Jumbo. You've stayed in the Jumbo Studios before, correct?
Yeah, I have.
So I don't know what the main difference is. So if you've stayed in a value studio at Jumbo House, let us know.
Yeah,
What the
please do
difference
on our
is.
social media what the difference is or where you're losing the square footage.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, what's next on the list?
It's over at Wilderness Lodge, Copper Creek.
Copper Creek. That's coming in at. Now this list says 338, and then I see one
Yes.
on here that says 345, which would. So I don't know if it's based on a corner room or what, but either way, it's still in that range. 345 would move it ahead of one other, but I'm going to go with the 338 that you have on this list, assuming that they didn't magically gain 7 square feet somewhere. Maybe it's a rounding error. And these also still have the sleeper sofas because these haven't gone through their refurb yet where they've gotten the Murphy beds. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, because
these-
they just converted old hotel rooms into DVC.
To the DVC building, yeah. And they have the 2 categories. One's the walk-in shower and one is not, but they're the same size. It's just the bathroom slightly different. with one's a tub and one's a walk-in shower. Queen bed, queen size sleeper sofa. Again, a little kitchenette. All these have the little kitchenette and one bathroom. So far, anyway, they all have one bathroom. These do have a balcony. So the only one we're going to talk about, period, that doesn't have a balcony is the Disneyland Hotel Villas, correct?
That's correct.
That's the only DVC resort without balconies.
Actually, there's some rooms that do have balconies, but not all of them.
I don't think any studios, though, right? Those are just the villas, I think. Or it's hit or miss?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's inconsistent, but I have seen rooms that do have balconies.
Gotcha. But yeah, so these are probably among your least favorite. You never really have any desire to stay in a Copper Creek at this point, right?
I do not. Absolutely.
You just don't like the layouts of the converted.
I don't like the converted
hotel
rooms. I don't particularly care for the resort studios at the Grand Floridian.
For the same reason.
For the same reason, it just doesn't have that it factor.
It's just retrofitted, so they're kind of squeezing things into a space that wasn't suited.
Throw a little microwave and a small refrigerator and call it a DVC room. That just doesn't really work for me, especially because I like Boulder Ridge so much more.
Mm-hmm. All right, what's next on the list?
Bay Lake Tower, always known to be one of the smaller rooms at 339 square feet.
Yeah, that's small. So this one sleeps 4. And that's one thing. Some of the bigger ones obviously will sleep 5 because they'll have those the drop downs under the TV. So that's good to note. But these, so far, all the smaller ones, I believe none of the ones that we've talked about so far sleep 5. Yeah. They all sleep 4. And at Bay Lake Tower, again, you have a queen size bed, and then they're in the process of converting them over to the Murphy beds. So some still have the sofas and some have the Murphy beds. The square footage, I don't think has changed. I don't think they made the rooms smaller when they're doing this refurb, or larger. I don't think that would be possible. Balcony still there. Obviously, 2-seater balcony.
Mm-hmm.
Bathroom, small kitchenette. Actually, the kitchenette in the Bay Lake is a little bigger, right? It's almost like a galley style. You walk in.
Yeah, it is nice. It is nice because it has that little separation.
Right.
But that does take up a lot of the square footage.
Yeah, so they feel even smaller because of that.
Yep.
But the kitchenette area is nice. Probably one of the better ones. Just it'd be nice if the room itself was a little bigger. Definitely not a lot of room in between the sofa and the bed in there. But I don't know if that has to do with just the way the building is shaped. If they just didn't have the room, or just to cut, fit as many in that building as they could.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the new, so it's strange because it seemed like some of the older ones were bigger, and then some of the newer ones were small, and then now they're getting bigger again.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
So I don't know if they just heard bad feedback or what the reasoning is behind that.
I think they always hear bad feedback regardless.
Oh, that's true. You don't get a lot of good feedback, do you? Not a lot of people.
No, you don't. Not in this community. Absolutely not.
And enjoy things. That's a good point. What's next?
Now we have a big jump up from 339 square feet at Bay Lake Tower to Saratoga Springs at 355.
That's a decent jump. You're right.
That's a big jump, isn't it?
It's 16 square feet. This one still only sleeps 4. Queen bed, the Murphy bed as well. It's a nice layout. We've both stayed at these. It has the kitchenette. The bathroom's decent size there. I feel like that room feels big. I haven't stayed at any of the smaller ones below this yet.
I would agree.
So this one feels
very comfortable. It's very comfortable.
Yes, for 4 people, It's a little snug, but for 2 people, I think it's a very nice studio. Everything shrinks when you got 4 people stuck in a
Oh,
hotel
sure.
room. It shrinks down. But
Got
these are
bags and clothing and
nice. Exactly. I really like Saratoga, obviously. I think the rooms here are very nice, and they don't feel small, even though it's on the smaller side. However, you will see this list bunches up quite a bit in this range. A lot of the rooms are very close in size between the
like
top
1
10.
foot. Mhm.
Yeah, 1 foot here or there. There's 3 of them coming up next that are all the exact same size.
Yeah, 356 for Boulder Ridge,
Mhm.
356 for Beach Club, and I've got 359 for the Boardwalk Villas.
But Aulani's at 356 as well.
Yeah, did I not mention I started with
N
Boulder
no.
Ridge? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, Lonnie, Boulder Ridge, Beach Club,
all at
all
356.
356.
Um, Again, Aulani has, a queen size bed and still the sleeper sofa. I don't think they've moved to Murphy beds yet at Aulani.
They have
Looks
not. I think they're going through their refurb either this year or next year.
okay. So their bathroom seems like it's on the bigger side, and their kitchenette's on the smaller side. So the room, I'm looking at a layout here. I don't know if they're all like this, but the bed and the sleeper sofa are actually opposite from each other in this one schematic I'm looking at. It looks like it might be a corner, and then there's actually a photo of one, and they're on the same side. So I guess it depends on the room you get, probably the view as well, as to how exactly the layout falls. Um, but that's not a bad size. Depending on how big the bathroom actually is, that's like a decent size hotel room if it's the same as Saratoga Springs. I don't have a problem with 356. What do you think about that?
No, 356 is fine.
And then you said Boulder Ridge as well, correct? 356.
That's correct, yes.
And now we get into Sleeps 5 because these have the
Yeah,
pullout under the TV, which you don't like.
which I do not like. I've mentioned on previous podcasts. That's correct. I'd rather have the drawer space for just the
Of
2 of
course.
us.
Which makes sense because you're only 2. You're not going to utilize the bed part, and you'd rather have the storage.
Mhm.
We like that because then the girls don't have to sleep in the same bed. They like it. It makes the room feel very small when everyone's sleeping and you have the pull down, pulled out. You have the under TV bed pulled out. But when you close it up, it feels big again. We really like Boulder Ridge. I think it's a nice
Yep.
layout. Again, it has the Murphy bed. It's a queen size Murphy bed, queen bed, and the single pull down bed. So you can sleep 5 in there. The bathroom was very small in Boulder Ridge. That was the only thing I didn't like, but that made the room area seem bigger. So it's a trade off. You
Yeah,
get a very
absolutely.
small bathroom. Like the bathroom in there was so small, parts that when you'd like walk in to use the toilet, you had to kind of like move sideways to close the door. There wasn't enough room to even like get the door closed while you're standing there.
Oh, was it really that tight?
It's tight, yeah. But the sink is separate. That area was plenty big. Just the actual like shower and toilet area were very small,
Yep.
which is fine. It's not the end of the world. It's not a complaint. It was just something I noticed staying there. We like the room a lot. Obviously, the location's great.
It's great location.
356. It felt good when the sleeper sofa was up and the bed was up. The girls were playing on the floor. We were sitting on the couch. There was plenty of room for us to do stuff. The balcony's nice enough. Again, 2 chairs and a little table on the balcony. I think it's a nice size room, especially for sleeping 5 or having people in that pull down under
Yeah,
TV
right.
bed is nice. And then what do we have? Beach Club, you said was the other one. That's the
Yep,
same
was the
size.
other one. Same thing as Sleeps 5.
Same exact thing. Yep, has the underbed, has the Murphy bed, and a queen size bed. That room felt a little smaller, but the bathroom was a little bigger. So because they're the same size, it's funny. I didn't even realize it at the time that they were the exact same square footage. But that Beach Club room felt smaller than the Boulder Ridge. even though they're the exact same size. So the
Interesting.
bathroom really makes a big difference on those. And I think that was the main difference there. That was the only difference I can think of was the bathroom was a little bit larger in Beach Club. So the room portion felt slightly smaller. But we still liked that room. We felt like it had enough room to move around.
It's a great room. I love that room.
Yeah, Beach Club is nice. Next is Boardwalk.
Boardwalk at 359.
So just slightly
Newly
bigger.
refurbished, great layout. You've been in my room. I've stayed there now quite a few times.
Yep. And this one also sleeps 5. So this has the under TV pullout, queen bed, and I think the refurb is done. So they all have the Murphy bed now.
Yes, that is correct.
If not, they will soon enough. What do you think of this compared to Beach Club as far as like, does it feel a lot bigger or feel about the
Yeah,
same
I like
size?
I think I like the room itself. I'm still not sure if I like the resort over Beach Club, but I think I like the room just a tad bit better.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. Obviously, the only thing I'll say, and I don't know if it's 100% accurate. Again, these are just schematics I'm looking at. It shows that the balcony only has 1 chair. Is that accurate at Boardwalk? That
No,
you
that's
remember?
not. No,
Okay,
I don't
so it's
remember.
probably just on the drawing. It doesn't necessarily.
That would kind of be weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's my turn to have my coffee out there.
So you feel like the Boardwalk room feels decently bigger than Beach Club, even though it's only a couple feet purely square footage wise.
Yeah, what did you didn't spend much time, so you don't really have
No,
an
not
opinion.
enough time, but the bathroom must be a little bit smaller, and it even looks a little smaller. So the room
Yeah.
portion's probably slightly bigger because of that. Now we're going off property. We got to go to Vero
Vero
Beach.
360 square feet. Now they have 2 separate areas. They have like their dedicated DVC, and then they have their in room. And
Yeah,
their
so
in rooms I would probably prefer because you can get the beach view.
okay. So the in room on this website I'm looking at has a different layout, and it's 360, but it's saying that the deluxe studio not in is actually a little bigger at 375, but they both sleep 4. So I don't know if that's accurate or not. The in room has
Okay.
2 queen beds, and the deluxe studio has a queen bed and a sleeper sofa or a pull down. I don't know if they've refurbed
They have refurbed it, and they do have it. It's a pull
to the
down
pull
now.
down now.
Yeah.
And the in room, does the in room still have 2 queens as far as
The
you
in
know?
room still has 2 queens, yes.
So that's a difference. And I know you don't like that as much either
Correct.
because you don't use the 2, and it's nice to have it fold up and
That
be put
space,
away.
you're right.
Yeah. So the in room's a little smaller, and it has the 2 queens, so it's gonna feel a lot smaller than the deluxe studio. But the layout on these look a little funky. They're kind of like angled, almost like old Key West, the deluxe studio.
Some of them are angled, yes.
Any other what have you stayed in at
I've
Vero?
stayed the 2 times that I've been there, it was just the inn.
The in room, okay.
Yep.
And they're nice enough. You like that resort a
Yeah,
lot.
because it's connected. It's their main building. It's their main
Yeah.
hotel building, so it's got the bar and the restaurants. Everything's connected.
And you said a better view?
Yeah, because you can get the beach view.
Beach view, yeah.
Yeah, so I would definitely recommend, especially your first time there, is to
Mhm.
do the in room.
All right, so we're back over to Jumbo House now
Yeah,
for their regular studio at 365 square feet.
365.
This sleeps only 4, so no more under TV pull down. This has a
And
queen bed and I believe still the sofa, right? At Jumbo?
I believe so. I'm not sure if they went through a refurbishment yet.
I don't think they have. I know Kadani's about to, and I think it's under the same, so they're probably going to do it at the same time. And I haven't stayed at Jumbo yet. I've only stayed at Kadani.
Okay, I've been at Jambo twice now.
You stayed on the cash side though at one point. Did you stay in a DVC room?
No, I stayed cash both times. Yeah, I think the
Okay.
DVC rooms are strictly on the top floor.
Oh, okay.
Was my understanding. I might be wrong, but
All right.
I think they're all on the top floor. Ken Cabot
Gotcha.
can confirm. Let us know, Ken.
Yeah. So again, this one looks like the bathroom's a little bigger in this one, but decent size. I mean, that's a nice size hotel room. 365.
Yeah, 365's good.
And then we have Kadani, which is 1 foot bigger, 366.
366. What's the configuration of this all about?
So this one has a really big bathroom. So it doesn't feel huge. So you walk in, you have your galley kitchen, and then the bathroom has the sink and then like the shower tub combo, and then there's a small little water closet with just the toilet, but it's pretty big. Like the sink area and the shower area are pretty big. It's a nice bathroom, but it does take up a lot of the space. And then you have your bed, and they're still with the sofas now. They're working on updating. I know that. So they still have like the carpets and the pull-out sofas. They're nice rooms. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. You said it was dated, and I've been up to the the 2-bedroom I visited twice, and again, it was dated. It's fine. I'm not a big fan of the color schemes. I don't like the dark.
Yeah.
Reminds me of like my parents' 1980 basement.
Hmm.
Especially in those 1 and 2 bedrooms with the kitchen cabinets. It just looks very dated to me.
Yeah, they do seem a little dated, but I kind of like the style. Even though they are dated, I do like how they look. But I get your point. It makes sense. They definitely are. There's no can't deny it. They're dated because they're due for a refurb. So they're some of the oldest rooms that are in inventory right now, as far as any resort that hasn't been updated. But yeah, it's a good size for sure. So either Animal Kingdom, they're only 1 foot different, 365, 366.
Mm-hmm.
Then we move over to the Grand Floridian, which on the list you sent only has one size here listed, but the Resort Studio is way bigger than the Deluxe Studio.
Yeah, of course. That's because that was built in 1988.
And we'll talk about both. We'll just have to kind of move it up in the list a little bit later. So the Deluxe Studio, which is in the DVC building,
Mm-hmm.
can sleep 5. So it has the single pull down under the TV.
Yeah,
Has the queen bed and the queen size Murphy bed pull out.
that's correct.
A nice bathroom. Seems like a nice large bathroom.
Well, that's what the selling point is that it's got the duo. So you've got the
That's right.
walk-in shower on one side, and then you
the
have
tub
the
on the
toilet
other
with the tub and the shower on the other side, and it's got a dividing door. So
Yeah.
it's great for families who are trying to get ready to go out to dinner or head off to the parks or whatnot.
Yeah. After the pool, those showers are valuable, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
So that
Yeah, you can
sleeps
save a
5.
lot of time if especially with you guys,
Yeah.
if 4 people have to shower, you can get 2 at a time.
Right. That makes a big difference. So you get not 2 bathrooms. There's still only 1 toilet, but 2
Yes,
showers.
that's correct.
Yeah. You still have the galley and the room area itself. It's bigger, but it's not huge because the bathroom does take up a lot of it, the extra shower.
Right.
But then you go to the Resort Studio, and that one's 440 square feet, parts.
Yeah, so just below the Polynesian.
This one sleeps 5. It's
Yep.
got 2 queen beds and a day bed. So that's like a little pull-out chair or sofa thing.
Yeah,
That's
it's
not
got a
under
little
the TV.
pull-down sofa that's against the
Yeah.
wall where the TV is, yeah.
Right. So you could sleep 5 there. It's only got the 1 shower and toilet, and it's a smaller bathroom. And the galley's a little smaller, the galley kitchen, because it's a converted hotel room, but it's a big room. A lot of people really like that room. I don't know if it's because of the size or having the queen beds. I get the appeal of the 2 queen beds,
Sure,
but I do like
I
having
do.
the extra space. I really do. So it's kind of a crapshoot for me. But 440 is
That's a big room.
it's a nice size, yeah.
That's a big room.
Should
It
we move
just
on? Oh, go ahead,
just
sorry.
short of the Grand Floridian, the villas is the Disneyland Villas at 370, so just a 4
Okay.
square feet short of the Grand Floridian. That
Okay.
was not on the original list because they just went into inventory 18 months ago, so but, yeah, that's on the bigger side. We did stay there just over a year ago. It's a good sized room, great layout,
Mm,
very, very, very similar to the, Polynesian Island
okay.
Studios.
Yeah, and again, that one does not have a guaranteed balcony either,
Mhm. You're right.
which is a big, can be a big detractor for a lot of people because you especially, you really love the balconies, don't
Yeah,
you?
that's the main yeah, I need a balcony. And it's probably gonna be my tipping point next time we go because when we went, we had not been to Disneyland, so we were just gonna go to the parks and run around and have
Yeah.
great dinners, so we didn't spend a ton of time. I think the next time we go, we'd like to stay at Grand Cal if there's any way we can get 7-month availability because we do spend a lot of time on the balconies. We did spend time when we were at Grand Cal, a lot of time on the balconies of
Nice.
Grand Californian.
Speaking of the Grand Cal, that's
Good
next on
segue,
this list.
correct, yeah.
Yeah. The, studio there is 379 square feet. This one has only sleeps 4, queen size bed and a pull down. This says it still has a sofa, which I think is true, right? This one's due for a refurb in a year or 2, I believe.
Ye They are doing it right now as we
Oh,
speak,
okay, so
actually.
it's working. They're working on it now. All right.
That's correct.
So they'll have the Murphy beds presumably pretty soon, but it's they're in the process of the refurb. You said it showed its age a little bit, right? The Grand Cal.
Yeah, yeah, I was actually in the cash side, though,
That's right.
but
Yeah.
yes, it is definitely showing its age. It reminds me it's that dark wood color, which is
Hmm.
perfect theming for what it is, but it reminds me of, Animal Kingdom Lodge. Just has
Gotcha.
those dark colors.
Yeah, so they're both about the same age, and they were done at the
Yeah,
same time, same design.
yep.
So it makes sense that the aesthetic is close. Um, Again, galley kitchen. The bathroom doesn't look exceptionally big, so I think the room is pretty big itself over there.
Plus, I believe, and that
There's a
Joe Rohde
table and
did both
chair.
of those too.
Yeah, you're right. So while they still have the sleeper sofa, there's actually a table, 2 chairs and a table in this room as well, which is one thing that definitely has gotten lost as they do these refurbs and they put the sleeper sofa, the pull down Murphy beds, they get rid of
Yep.
the table and chairs. But should we move on to Old Key West,
The OG, right?
the original? And I think you're on record as saying this is your least favorite
Yeah.
studio.
Yeah, and it's not just the configuration because it's got a nice kitchenette. It has a
Hmm.
table where you can eat.
Yeah, nice size
It's just
table.
it's got like a TV, like the first TV that I had when I was a kid. I mean, it's
It's
like
like
a
a 12
13-inch
inch.
TV. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
ridiculous. And there's nothing they can do because that wall is so funky. It's just such a funky
just the
layout.
layout is very strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one also has the 2 queen beds, so you're losing a lot of room for that, but it still feels pretty big even with the queen beds, right?
And there's talk when they do a refurb, they're not sure if they're gonna be able to do the pull down because of the configuration.
Oh, I guess that kind of makes sense. I don't know how you could do that and make it different. But you're right. I mean, that room is not conducive to hanging out because there's nowhere to sit. You can't if you're sitting at the table with the chairs, you can't see the TV that's tiny.
That's
Even
correct,
on
'cause it's
even the beds don't really face the TV, right? It's kind of like off to the side
yeah,
as an
no, the beds
afterthought.
do, but they're just the bed it's just so small.
Mm. I mean, the bathroom seems nice, like a nice sized bathroom. Like you said, the kitchenette is good, but just a weird setup for the TV and the beds and
Yeah.
everything.
I
But it's a
think if I
real
had a desire to stay there, I would definitely just go to a 2 bed or 1 bedroom because the bump up isn't that crazy, and I think it's got one of the best 1 bedrooms
and it's huge
on
too, the
properties.
one
Yeah,
bedroom.
it's like an
Yeah,
apartment
yeah,
or townhome.
absolutely. Um, so now we can go to one of the newer, not the OG. This is one of the new Gs. We have this would be the Poly, right? The newest
Yeah, the poly, studio.
tower. So this is the tower, the new deluxe studio in the tower is 410 square feet. We have it sleeps 4. There's a pull down, queen size pull down, queen size bed. Nice bathroom. There's like a separate sink. You walk in, use the toilet. You walk in, use the shower. Obviously, you have like the kitchen, and I love the entertainment area in these studios. I think they did a good job with these studios, don't you?
I do. Yeah, I do. I like the studios. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the 1 bedrooms, but I do like the studios.
Yeah, they're very big. The setup's nice. It seems like it's more open for doing stuff and spending time in it as opposed to
I
just a
like
place to sleep.
I like the fact that they do have that table, um,
It's almost like a
with the
bar
booth.
to sit at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, where you could sit and if you wanted to grab something, room
Mhm.
service or something at the quick service and bring it up.
Yeah, that's definitely a nice one. So that one's a little bit smaller than the Riviera studio, not the tower, their regular studio, 423 square feet.
That's a big room.
That's a big room. And that's at Riviera. That sleeps 5. So you have the queen size bed, a queen size pull down, and the single pull down bed under the TV. Uh, there's still a seating area, it looks like.
Yeah, it does. We've had, breakfast, lunch, and dinner many a time there, and it also
Table,
has that
2 chairs,
split bathroom that the
and the
Grand
split
Floridian
bathroom.
has. Yep.
Yeah. So they kind of combined a lot of really good features of other rooms into this one. Uh, Plus, it's one of the newer ones, so it's still got that new car smell to it. You really like that studio, don't you?
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Do you think it's the best studio they have?
In the bubble?
Yeah.
Mm,
I guess we
it's
could
pretty
talk about
close.
that another time. It's
It's
good
pretty
though.
close. Yeah.
Yeah. The only one at Walt Disney World that's bigger is the original studio at the Polynesian, 447 square feet. So that's big. If you look at the smallest actual studio that sleeps 4, 316 square feet, Animal Kingdom Value Studio, to 447.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's almost 150 square feet more.
We've been in there when we did the tour.
It's a big
I
room.
remember how much you liked it.
I like that room a lot
Because
because you
I
have
believe it's got 2 does it have 2 bathrooms?
it's got the split.
Or
I
does it
think
do the
there's
split as well?
I think there's only one toilet, but there's one bathroom that has a toilet, tub, shower combo, and a sink, and the other one has a sink and a walk-in shower, but no toilet.
Gotcha.
And the
So
little
it's
kitchenette area is still nice, and then the room still feels big, even though
yeah.
obviously it is big. Even though the bathroom is big, you don't sacrifice the size of the living area, and you can sleep 5 with the pull down under the TV. They're really nice. The theming's good. They did a really good job with that refurb when they did it. That was one of the earlier refurbs, I think, as far as
Yeah.
the Murphy beds. I mean, it's a lot of points for a studio at the Poly per night. It's up there with the Grand Floridian as far as, cost per night. But it's a nice room. It's a really nice room.
Do they have the pull downs now in that room?
Yeah. Yep.
They
absolutely.
do. Okay.
Yep. Now you got me questioning myself. Yeah, I can see it
Okay.
in this picture. Yeah.
Because when we stayed there, they had just converted them over to DVC. They weren't converted, but they were like the Grand Floridian Resort Studios, and they were 2 queen beds at that time.
Oh, okay. So now the biggest studio is in South Carolina at Hilton Head at 455 square feet. This one sleeps only 4. They just did the refurb there, correct?
Yes, they did last year. Yep.
So this one now has the pull down. So you got a queen bed and a pull down. I mean, I'm looking at the schematic. It's like an L shape almost. So you like walk in through the galley kitchen, and then the bathroom's right in front of you, and then you turn into the main living area. It's a nice room. I mean, obviously that's big. That's a nice big
Yeah.
room.
Yeah, we'll be there in the end of August or mid-August. So,
And you'll see well, you won't, because I don't think the 2 bedrooms there are lock-offs, are they?
I think they're a mix.
Oh, okay. So it's a hit or miss on that as well. So you're not necessarily going to see the studio, but you'll see the resort.
Well, we will if it's a lock-off because we're in a 2-bedroom.
Right. That's a good point. I don't know. It's interesting to see. I didn't really realize how big of a difference there was from 455 all the way down to 316, and then less for those 2-person studios.
Because 316 is tight because some of the mods are in the 3s. I know Pop is in like the 260 to 280 range.
Yeah.
That's tight. And I think some of the mods are in like the 310, 320, which I think moderates now staying in a lot of these deluxes feel a little small. They're
Do they?
doable. Like Coronado's fine. It's doable. But I just like getting those few extra square feet, don't you?
I mean, you stayed at All Stars not that long ago. Did it feel that small?
Yeah, even when the bed's up, it's a small room.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why it's a little less.
Right.
If more in there, I get it. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like the galley kitchen, the kitchenette, whatever, takes up some space that you don't in a moderate or a value. So that part of it, you're not losing, but that's a huge difference, though. A couple 100 and something square feet. That feels like a lot over the course of 4 or 5 nights. Staying there with 3 or 4 people, that can make a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's good to know. Anything else you want to add here as far as that goes?
I don't believe so. We've got a lot of shows to do, don't we?
Yeah,
Just
I think so.
this.
I like this, though, because you really break down the numbers. And I actually think the 1 and 2 bedrooms are going to be more interesting because I think there's a bigger divide on those.
I believe you're right. Yep. I think you're exactly right.
So this is a good dipping of the toe into the water on this. But why don't you bring us home?
Bring us home. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at DVC Addicts. Email the show info@addictedtodvc.com and join our Facebook group, DVC Addicts. For my cousin and co-host Gary in Rhode Island, I'm Mike in Florida. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you for listening to the Addicted to DVC podcast with Mike and Gary. We want to hear from you. Email us at info@addictedtodvc.com and follow us on all socials at DVC Addicts. We appreciate you being a part of our DVC community, and we'll see you again on our next episode. Thanks again for listening, and welcome home.